Hello my friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we're going over bike setup as well as my opinion on the most important modification that you can make to your extreme enduro machine. Probably one of the most common questions that I get when it comes to extreme enduro is what do I do with my personal bike setup as well as what modifications are the most important to make from stock. And the honest answer really isn't going to be a popular one. My bike is basically stock. The only modification I make immediately is the tires. Now, I know I'm a little bit biased because I do work for IRC, but there is a reason other than my employment for why I change the tires immediately. In my opinion, tire setup is the most important modification you can make on your extreme enduro machine. On a motorcycle, the only part of the machine that touches the ground is the tires. The setup of your tires is the only thing that stays consistent from bike to bike. No matter what you ride or where you ride it, as long as you have a tire setup that you trust, it'll always perform the same. That's why understanding the exact feel and performance of your tires, in my opinion, is the best starting point for properly setting up your bike. Having a tire setup that you completely trust and knowing how it will react from situation to situation will then help you make proper adjustments on your suspension, gearing, and engine. Obviously, there's a lot of preference when it comes to bike setup, just like tire selection. I personally like to put 10 to 15 hours on a brand new bike without making any changes. I only adjust sag to my weight and clickers to stock performance settings. I prefer to get a complete feel for the bike in a lot of different situations before making any adjustments. Just like I want the complete understanding of the performance of a tire. After I've adapted to my bike, I make small changes with the clickers, then maybe gearing and engine. Nowadays, no matter what bike brand you ride, motorcycles are at the pinnacle of performance and engineering. I believe you can have a competitive bike in extreme enduro with very minimal changes. So other than changing my tires, on my current bike I have stock 1350 gearing and really I've made no engine modifications. I've made some small suspension adjustments. I've added a few millimeters of sag to the shock. I've added a little bit of preload to the front forks. And most importantly, I make sure that my bike is riding in the middle of the stroke when I'm riding through faster, rocky sections. For extreme enduro, I want to aim on the side of a little bit softer. Obviously, there is bike adjustments and modifications that can improve your riding immensely. I'm not saying that trick suspension and engine modifications won't help you. My main point is through proper personal form, you'll find a bike setup that suits your style of riding. Once again, there's no replacement for bike time. In an upcoming episode, we'll get more in-depth with my personal tire setup and some adjustments that I've made. I've put over 1,000 hours on the IX09W Dakota tire. This is where the exact understanding of its performance comes in. Again, this is the only part of the bike that touches the ground. So in my opinion, it's imperative to understand where it does and doesn't perform. I'll show you the modifications that I do to my tire to help it perform at the highest level. Until next time, keep shredding.